Hello, welcome back. I am excited today. There's a lot of people that are synonymous with Louisville, Kentucky. I'm going to throw some names out there because I'm going to put you in this list with them. We'll go back to Pee Wee Reese, Muhammad Ali. You said it earlier, Jack Harlow. We're claiming Lamar Jackson, Jennifer Lawrence. But when people hear the name Darryl Isaacs, you're synonymous with Louisville.
I think they're thinking the most wanted on the post office.
The what?
The most wanted.
Most wanted on the post office.
I'm not in that group, but thank you.
Yeah, I think you.
I don't deserve to be in that.
Well,
group,
I think when historians take a look back at the history of Louisville and who had branding rights in the city, you're definitely going to be one of those people. So I know you've done amazing things for Louisville. I'm excited to get to know you and talk to you a little bit more. Thanks for being on In Good Company.
Sure.
Where we can just chop it up and learn a little bit about what got you here and what's next in your world. So if you live under a rock and you don't know who this is, can you give everybody a 5-minute introduction?
They're not missing anything.
Yeah.
I grew up in Louisville, Kentucky. In fact, I grew up in Hikes Point, Sunrise Way, not 3 miles from here.
I'm going to ask you the Louisville question.
Sure.
What high school did you go to?
I went to 3.
3?
I went to 7 schools in 12 years. I got bused, and we got redistricted, and we moved. But freshman year, I went to Atherton. Then my sophomore year, I went to Male. And half my junior year, I went to Trinity, graduated Trinity. I was not an academic scholar.
Right.
So do as I say, not as I do. But I was well-rounded socially, interacting with a lot of people. But, I was bused. I did everything. But tell my kids, you're better than me because I didn't have the great academic career. Everybody, you look at me and think, "Oh my God!" But trust me, if I can make it, anybody in Louisville can make it.
Well, that's something we say in our company all the time. If another human being has done it, you're capable of doing it. So we're not put on this earth to be ordinary. All right. So you're a lawyer by trade.
Yes.
How many law firms do you own, or is it just one?
Well, it's just one. I mean, I got some companies. I got a mastermind company that deals with a lot of lawyers, but Isaacs and Isaacs is my baby.
Okay. So. And where did that come from? How did it get to where it is today?
Well,
because your dad was an attorney.
Yeah, my dad was semi-retired. So like I say, when I graduated, it's funny. I graduated undergrad with a 3.2 and flip it. When I law school, I graduated with a 2.3. And was on probation, flunked the bar twice. So when I came out, I didn't have people knocking at my door to want to hire me. So I ended up starting my own firm. And the reason I did that, during law school, I was very blessed. I was in an era, everybody knew, Frank Haddo was the best attorney in the state. He did criminal law. But probably the second best was a guy named David Kaplan. And, when I went to work for him, he had tried like a capital murder case in 38 states and unbelievable. Mm-hmm. And I went to him one day, and I just got off probation, and I wanted to be a trial attorney. So told him my grades were terrible. I work for free. And he said, "You're a hired kid." And he let me work for him. And I sat through 22 jury trials during law school. In fact, took an extra year of law school to get through. But he gave me the gift of the century because he let me get training. And I worked on about 300 personal injury cases. And so when I graduated finally, I'm past the bar finally, I just hung a shingle.
Okay.
And I went to my father and said, I want to start a law firm, but a sole practitioner won't get the same respect. And so he kind of chuckled, but that was over 33 years ago. And I'm proud to say we've helped about 50,000 people and done a couple $2 billion. And
awesome.
That was all started because I failed at so many things.
So you're not going to hire me, so I'm just going to start my own company. Is that, did I paraphrase that correctly?
Well, here's the thing. And I tell people this, and I do the things I do today, I did when I was 6 years old. I was 27 when I got my first cell phone. These kids today are coming out of the womb with a cell phone, you know. And I have 3 young children, 26, 22, and 22. And, they all had a cell phone at an early age. And so I grew up where we had to build relationships. And, you had to call somebody like on a rotary dial, or, you had to look people in the eye and shake their hands. And so for me, developed who I was.
Right. And that wasn't that long ago that rotary dials. I know what a rotary dial is.
I didn't even think about it. No one probably knows what a rotary dialer is.
Well, I remember getting my first pager. So, with that being said, my daughter, you remember the Fisher Price telephones?
Absolutely.
We got that out of my grandmother or their grandmother's house, and they're like, "What is that?" I'm like, "That's a telephone." They're like, "That's a car. It's not a telephone." It's amazing where we've come in such a short amount of time.
Well, I'm thinking an example too. My musician, my 26-year-old, when he was younger, we went to England. He was a Beatles nuts, and I thought, you know what, let's take him abroad. And there was a telephone booth, and none of our kids knew what that was.
The red British one?
Well, red. I mean, I remember growing up. I mean, that was so cool. You'd go in and make a call, and you might put. I think it was a penny first, but when I did it, it was a nickel, and it went to a dime.
Right.
And they didn't know what a phone booth was. And so when they went in, of course, it smelled awful because everybody.
Right.
But I'm like, yeah, that's what we used to use.
That's how we used to communicate.
Yeah.
So speaking of family, married?
Yeah.
Kids?
3 kids.
3 kids, all in college?
Well, one has graduated UK, and he's a professional musician in Nashville.
Okay. What kind of music?
Lee is a cross between Bob Dylan and Bruce Springsteen. He's written so it's funny. I had kids late in life because I, worked all the time. And I think I was 34 or 5 when I had my first kid. And I remember driving around because I always worked, and I would listen to music. And I grew up on Queen, Kiss, Led Zeppelin, Def Leppard. So guess what? He grew up loving those music. Right. And so he's a little country, being in Nashville, but he's rock and roll's more his.
Is he in a band? Does he have a band?
Well, he's kind of got his own. He lives with his drummer, but I didn't realize last year he didn't take advantage of it socially, but he opened for Flo Rida and Ice Cube out in California. He's written about 500 songs, but he's your typical musician in Nashville. You're trying to get discovered. He's got some gigs down in Louisville, and nowadays, like I tell people this, I got to see Queen when they came and played at the Armory. There's only 6,000 people. I thought, oh my gosh, Freddie Mercury was
amazing,
phenomenal. Now they have to do downloads, and so he's kind of just trying to he's just trying to make it, and his roommate, like I say, his drummer's got to work another job, and so it's hard for bands to make it. But,
and you can't make a CD and sell it anymore.
No. Well, he just released his 3rd album. I mean, you can find him on Spotify, YouTube, and all that. But how they make their money is downloads.
Yep.
So, and then I got 2 others, twins. One's at Minnesota playing soccer.
Okay.
And they both graduate this year. They're seniors in college, and another one's in
Minnesota. How did they end up in Minnesota?
She wanted to get as far away from me as possible. No, the problem is when everybody knows who you are. Your kids, sometimes they can, sometimes it's a benefit, sometimes it's a con. Yep. And it's funny, Amanda was like all-state in soccer, All-American, won 2 state titles at Sacred Heart. And she was getting recruited, and during COVID, it was harder because they couldn't actually go visits. So a lot of hers was tape all over the country. But I'll never forget, we're going to spring break to Florida, and we're in the Atlanta's airport, and she got a call from the coach. And Minnesota was never on the radar.
Right.
I mean, she was, Alabama and LSU and some of these schools, and all of a sudden it's cold. And,
right.
But
hockey and football is the only thing.
I know. But she loves it, loves the players, loves the team, loves the coach. And I tease, she just kind of wanted to go somewhere and get out of my name. And that's, got to respect it.
Yeah, love it. Was it Blaze Your Own Path?
Yes.
Absolutely. All right. So, you've established Isaacs and Isaacs.
Yeah.
Right. I think most people that would recognize you today is your ability to self-promote and brand, which is huge. Is it naive for me to think you're more of a marketing company than a law firm at this point in your career?
Well, it's not naive. No, it's a fair question. Yeah. Because what happened is, I started out litigating cases for the TV attorneys, Becker and all them, when I was coming out. And then I decided, I'm doing all the work and have the fee. I can do it myself. And so I thought I'd go on TV. I wanted my dad to be the face. And we met with a company, and they kept saying, you got to be the one, your personality. Well, I'm 27. I'm a kid. I didn't want to do it, but we did it. And what I see now, and my dad really was for it anyway, because he is self-retired. He was 63 when he went back to work. But basically what TV has done for me and what my brand is, it's my personality. I mean, look, I never felt I was smarter or better than anybody in anything. And, every time I would fail or flunk, I would go listen to like Zig Ziglar or Earl Nightingale tapes. And so for me, the more I failed, the harder I worked, and it made me appreciate things. But so we went on TV and blew up. I mean, I had 1,500 new cases in 6 months, and we developed this like wild machine. And then I started hiring attorneys, and I got away from litigation. And I guess I had a really bad accident in 15. I was trying 16, 15.
Yeah.
I think it was 15. And then I wanted to go back and be a litigator. So now we flipped, we built this new courtroom, and I've kind of turned my firm over to some people to run it. I still do the marketing aspect, but now I want to try cases. I mean, that's what I started out.
You're back.
I'm back in the courtroom. I mean, we, like tomorrow I'm doing another focus group. So we got a pre-lit and a litigation department, but people are going to see us. But like everybody else, every attorney, I think, I don't care who you are and what business, even your business, you can have the greatest product in the world, but if no one knows about you.
Right.
So I'm big on everybody, whatever their profession, they got a market brand, and you got to figure out what's your brand. And for me, I know what my brand is, but everybody's got to find their own brand.
Well, you segued right into something I wanted to ask you about, because at one point you were the heavy hitter.
Yes.
And then you became the hammer.
Yes.
Which had Super Bowl fame and everything attached to it. What about that transition is? Well,
the thing, and it's funny, I just taught this a couple of weeks ago to a bunch of trial attorneys out in Vegas. No one remembers, my first brand was probably the best. We'll Work Hard for You. People loved it. Like I say, I got 1,500 cases in 6 months. It was insane. I went and started using an agency because we got so big, and you can either track cases, work cases up. I can't just do all the marketing. So we started coming up with these slogans, and heavy hitter worked great, but I left this agency and thought I'm just going to do my own stuff because at the end of the day, it's me personally, it's my brand. So I kind of came up with the hammer called a Kentucky Hammer, and 3 miles from here was on Hill Creek. And I was driving to see my roots because I grew up in Heights Point, and there was a shooting star, and the star looked like a hammer out of the sky. And I thought that's going to be the hammer coming out of the sky. And that's where that was born. And then I copyright or trademark. I still don't know the difference. Recently we switched to, I know what you're going through after my accident because I broke my neck. And then WeWin.com, I found out about it and paid a fortune for it. So I have a lot of brands, but I don't do away with them. I use them all in sync.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, what I'm branding is my personality, me as Darryl Isaacs. I mean, I'm not better than everybody. I'm not smarter. I'm not faster. I'm not anything. I'm just who I am.
Yeah. And that's a big personality.
Well, I've been told. I mean, Zig Ziglar said this, and I never met him, but I can memorize every word he said. Some of the greatest teachers are the ones that failed the most.
Right.
So that would make me the master of the universe because I don't know anybody's failed more than me.
That's why I'm so good at baseball coach. Struck out a lot.
Well, but look at Babe Ruth. I mean, he struck out, but he also, had a lot of home runs.
Yeah.
You can't get a hit if you don't swing.
Right.
And I tell everybody, even my kids, like, follow your passion. What do you love to do? What's your dream? Like my son wants to be a musician. I can't tell you he's going to make it or not. He's the only one that can make that determination.
Yep.
And I think, but the harder you work, the luckier you get.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite. So you're a Zig Ziglar guy?
Earl Nightingale. When I was 13, I flipped burgers. I lied about my age of Burger Queen. And they had two things that I still think today. The customer signed their paycheck. It said a customer. Uh-huh. And two, they made me listen to Earl Nightingale. Now, I'm a 13-year-old kid. I didn't know who that was in 1977.
Yep.
It was amazing. And today, all Zig Ziglar, everybody, it all uprooted from Earl Nightingale.
Yep.
And the bottom line, I could summarize what every one of them say. The number one rule is take care of the customer or someone else will. It's real simple. It's customer service.
Zig Ziglar, my favorite Zig Ziglar quote is, if you help enough people get what they want, you'll get more than everything.
Go look at my website. The his up there. If you help everybody get what they want, you can get what you want.
Yep.
You Zig Ziglar basically, because you know the story. He went from being almost last to number 2. Mm-hmm. It's when you put others first. If you become unselfish,
yep,
you can achieve. And that's what I've kind of, after my accident, I decided I do have a gift. I'm going to share it. And I've helped over 1,000 lawyers. And the more I help people, the more I get in return. And I don't do it for the monetary. I do it because it makes me feel good about me.
Right. And it's nice that you get paid to do it.
Yeah. Well, I get paid for my business.
Right.
But
do you do a lot of pro bono work?
Yes. And I get to choose because I have limited time. Uh-huh. But yes, I will, I've helped mentor a few attorneys that no one else would talk to. And my deal with anybody, if I help you, you have to pay it forward. Mm-hmm. Now I've had a few that really went, I've created a couple monsters, they're all about the money.
Right.
So I quit mentoring them. There's nothing wrong with making a lot of money.
Right.
But you also have to help a lot of people along the way.
Yeah. Well, I think it is, and I don't know where I derive this from, but if you have the ability to make a tremendous amount of wealth and you don't, I think that's selfish because of the number of people that will depend on you or you can help with that profit.
Well, what if you can take the wealth and, we do a lot of anonymous charity, and I don't want to reward, but the wealth helps me go help people.
Right.
And my rule most time is I don't want people to know because I'm not doing it for the recognition. I'm doing it, because it does make a difference in their life.
So I was going to bring up a couple of those things. Are you okay talking about it?
Yeah.
Was it hammers, backpacks?
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, that's not done anonymously, obviously.
Well, yeah. I'm looking at the ones that have
I was like, oh, no, if you talk to someone with help.
Okay. So,
we did a couple. We did Lou Adoption and Hammers Backpack, and both for different reasons. If you want me to go into them,
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm a former educator, so that's right. Actually, and I'm a rescue dog owner, so I love the dogs too.
Well, what do you want to talk about?
Let's talk about backpack giveaway.
Okay, backpack. Well, the interesting thing about backpack, it was not my idea. Uh-huh. Another attorney had it, so I don't want to take credit for it. But we have a lot of clients that we help. Look, I'll help anybody. I don't care about race, religion, creed. You can go on and on and on. I can look at my percentage of clients, and I know the demographics. I know everything, with their education, their background. And I just noticed a lot of our clients lived in some areas that we take for granted. You send your kids to school with the coolest backpack or the coolest clothes, and yet there's some kids that don't have that. So we decided we wanted to do it. And the powerful thing about branding and marketing, I don't have to be right. I don't have to know it all. I'm going to give a good example. We were getting backpacks, and at first we were going to do all the same one and put the hammer on it. Uh-huh. And then one of the ladies who worked for me said, don't do it because the kids get bullied. And I said, I didn't think about that. So then we threw it out there, on the internet, we got about 50 people's opinion, and about 92% said, yes, kids will get bullied because they'll get made fun of.
Because they know it's a free backpack.
They know it's a free backpack.
Yep.
So we had to take it extreme. So we got about 10 different colors. Mm-hmm. And we filled it. And so that way, and a lot of them, what we did is we went into Target and saw the different colors. And then we found out who the manufacturer were. And then we reached out and we got them at a lot discount because it was for a charity event. So now we had people coming, and we didn't brand them, but it was wonderful because now you have people, I think the backpack costs us $10, $12 stuffed. Now we let them stuff because we want to have a leg in the game. And oh my gosh, I think we gave 3,000 or 4,000, and the need in Louisville is so great, and it breaks your heart.
Oh no, I was at Frost Middle School, Southern High School, Seneca, and Wagner, and one of my biggest struggles was just kids showing up with a pen and paper.
Yep.
And it's
or maybe not food to eat.
And then the second was that, obviously. But I love that. And then let's talk about the dogs.
So I'll tell you about this. I was a dog in my last life. I love dogs. But no, and here's something else. So I'm back. I travel a lot because I do go lecture and I go help people. And then I've had a place in Florida for 20 plus years. I go back and forth. I need a place to sometimes get away where no one knows me, or I thought no one would know me anyway.
Well, you do Super Bowl ads.
Well, that ruined it. Yeah, that kind of ruined it for that. But I never thought that would go viral. I mean, I'm not on national Super Bowl. People don't realize, like, I'm just a local guy, but it blew up on the internet. And anyway, yeah, who would have thought? But what I've found is there was some tornadoes that had devastated some counties. And I always thought, well, gosh, first the people, and second, what about the animals? And so we got an idea and went to the Humane Society, and they just were so happened to have an event out there at, where the water park and all that is. I can't think what it's called.
Waterfront Park?
No.
The Great
Fairgrounds.
Fairgrounds. Okay.
So listen, I got a turbo. I do have a brain injury, so my memory is not the greatest when I got hit. So, I don't use an excuse. I just want people to know, like, if I see you, I don't remember your name, it's not personal. But there was a lot of displaced animals. So I said, what if we do this together? And I asked them, what's the most dogs you've ever had? I don't really call it adopted. I like call it forever home. I mean, you're trying to find a forever home. And they said 25. And I said, all right, well, we'll get 100. And they thought it was crazy. And I said, no. And the first time we did it, I think we had 116 forever homes. And the second year we had 151. But here's something interesting, and I didn't even know this. Majority of the dogs that are getting their forever homes, they're either a pit bull, pit mix. Those are a lot of the stray and stranded.
Right.
And I was bit by a pit bull moons ago and had surgery. But what I didn't realize, and just through education, they were telling me, a lot of the dogs that are bait animals or being just for mating and all that, if they're not bred to fight, I mean, some of the dogs, it's going to be hard to, but a lot of pit bulls, if they're domesticated, they can be wonderful pets.
Yeah.
So, when we were talking about how many dogs find forever homes, that's what they were saying. Like 70% of them are a pity mix.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, wow, because everybody wants puppies, and we adoption, like the first 10 minutes, they're flying to all the puppies.
Right.
But what was great is each of the events 2 years in a row, there's dogs that have been at the places because they didn't have no kills that have been like 5, 6, 7 years. They were finding forever homes.
Man.
So, and the families are the people. Oh, they were like finding their best friend. It was a win-win.
Exactly. My wife was never going to get a dog, and then we got 2. And I'm telling you, she will probably always have a dog, and will always go get rescues.
It's probably going to be thought more than you.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there were 2 things that were never for sale: my kids and me. But now I moved down to number 3 when we got the dogs.
Okay. I understand that hierarchy.
What is the Hammer Hub?
So what the Hammer Hub is basically, we get so many requests, and now, like we used to use databases, for marketing and branding. We might have a couple 100,000 people that contact our office. Well, how many times have you changed emails like in the last year? I mean, right. I change weekly almost.
Yep.
No one ever loses their cell phone. I still got my same cell phone I've had for 20 years. So we wanted a way to get people to sign up. And if they want to come and get anything, like if we're giving a free t-shirt, we just want their information and their cell phone, because then we want to add them to our marketing stuff. Now they can opt out, but Hammer Hub is just a way that they could register, because, like t-shirts, we did it as a gag joke.
Okay.
We were going to give out 100 Call the Hammer t-shirts. And I mean, we've given over 10,000 now. It's like, who wants my t-shirt?
Right.
But it went viral. So now, I mean, we had to kind of shut it down because we're getting like 30% of requests all over the world. It's costing us like $30 to send it. And I'm like, what happened? Yeah. But Hammer's Hub's a way where you could go register, and then you can be caught up on all our promotional stuff.
Okay.
It's just a database.
Okay. So it's not like legal advice or anything.
No.
I took it as there was like something.
No, you got to be careful, because how many, you got a stockbroker, trader friend that you call, and their voicemail is, don't leave instructions. It's not yada, yada.
Yeah.
Legal advice is the same way. You can't, because the fear from an attorney is someone will call you don't take their case, and the statute of limitation runs. And then a year and a half later, all of a sudden, hey, you said you take my case. I left a voicemail or something.
Right.
So you want to make sure you establish there's
agency and
no attorney-client privilege.
This came to me as we were sitting here. What is AI doing in your space right now? Anything?
I don't understand it.
Okay.
I have to deal with it. like Facebook, I didn't know what it was. I protested. I didn't want to do it. And finally, one day, my, marketing director was like, Darryl, got to get with the times.
Right.
So she made me open this thing, and I still don't really understand it. I mean, everybody thinks I'm this social media genius. They all do it for me. They use me.
Right.
And I'm one thing I tell everybody, make sure the recovery codes get to your cell phone, because more people have stolen not only identities, but websites and telephone numbers. So everything's got to go through my personal cell phone. But I have people that, might text me and say I'm posting this or that. I always ask to give me a heads up.
Yeah.
Because like if I'm going somewhere, I mean, oh, wow, you look what you just did. I'm like, what'd I do?
What I do?
But I look, in 1987, I was the first 8086 computer came out. I missed everything. So I learned just how to type.
Yep.
And I'm in sophomore year in high school at Mail, Miss Anto, I could type 60, 70 words a minute. She made me type on that GE, and she did me the favor of a lifetime, because I can type real fast, but I don't know how everything works or operates. And I need like a 6-year-old kid to show me how to use my cell phone.
Right. Well, we're actually,
but you answer your question. Don't interrupt you.
Yeah.
I don't understand AI, but what I'm doing is I got people that work for me that do. And so we're slowly having to incorporate it. But like today, like I'm working on this trial and we got 10,000 pages of documents. And one of the ladies that's helped me said, I could run this through AI in 30 minutes. I'll have you a summary. I'm like, how in the hell do they read all that?
Yep.
So I'm like, okay, let me see what it is. And now instead of looking at 10,000 pages, I'm going to maybe look at 30.
Yep.
So it's a game changer, but I Darryl Isaacs don't understand it.
I don't understand how it works either. A similar story. I just got back from the doctor, and there's some, basically he gave me that after visit report. It was like this long and a bunch of medical words I don't know. Act like a doctor and explain this to me in layman's terms. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. I totally understood everything that was going on. And literally, it's going to be a game changer.
I'll tell you this is why I'm a trial attorney. AI will never replace a trial attorney.
Correct.
It could replace some non-trial attorneys. I mean, that's why I'm trying to, I have, at one time I had 30. I think I'm down about 25. We've gone through some turnover, but I'm trying to maybe everybody needs to learn how to try a case, because AI can never try a case. Right. I mean, the thing about AI, it does take the human. Look, what's the one thing we all long for? Your kids, I don't care who it is, where you are. There's one thing that everybody wants to do.
Connectivity.
Connect. But how do you connect?
A bunch of different ways.
You got to be accepted. Everybody wants acceptance.
Acceptance.
They want acceptance of who you are, what you believe in, what you stand for. AI doesn't do that. It doesn't do emotions. Now, maybe it will, but, and that's why when I go lecture and everything, I tell everybody, I don't have a magic skill, but I can connect. I want to be accepted. I can show you what's made me successful. And, 2 weeks ago, people paid a ton of money for 2 days. And I said, both days I was talking to different people. I'm the first 30 seconds, give you the magic. If you don't hear anything else.
Listen now.
You want to be accepted. You want to love. You got to learn to connect, and you got to learn not to be selfish. If you're selfish, this won't work for you.
Right.
So there's no I in team. It's all about what can you do to help others, and doing so. And then everybody looks at you, and then I'll spend the rest of the day, but all I'm doing is reinforcing. And that's what they don't teach you at law school. They don't teach you at school. They don't teach you anywhere. I don't have a special gift. I just love people and I help people, and I'm authentic and real, because God knows no one wants to be me. So I'm just going to be the best version I can be.
And you build trust. You have instant trust with empathy and authenticity.
Yep.
And compassion, right? When you are authentic about those things, that makes that connectivity almost.
So you get it, you understand, but you've also listened to Zig Ziglar, so,
right?
Listen to Tony Robbins, all these people. I love it. I sent my kid to Tony Robbins. Spent thousands of dollars. He's there a week, and he came back. Gosh, at the end of the day, he's telling me what you're telling me.
Yeah.
You got to be real. You got to be authentic. And I'm like, isn't it sad I had to pay thousands of dollars for you to listen to someone else? And you grow up listening to me, you just don't listen to me.
Right. Well, you can't hear it from your parents. You got to hear it from somebody.
I didn't listen to my parents. I know. So I'm not a hypocrite.
I'm sure my dad, every time I quote somebody, he's like, I've told you that a long time ago. And I love cliches.
Yeah.
And the reason they're cliches is because they're true, right?
Yeah.
They wouldn't stand the test of time if they didn't hold up over the test of time.
Sure.
All right. Your book talking about, telling people how to do things. And
God, did I bring? I'll get you one.
Okay, I love it.
I got one in the car. Walk out with me. I know I got one in the car because I carry my daughter's backpack with me as good luck. And I'm superstitious, so I carry one in there. Okay,
right. We'll do that.
So yeah, here's what I did, and I'm going to be full candid. Everybody's going to laugh at me. I have a writer, and I do a lot of presentations, and he writes them and he goes, and I've probably done about 500, and he one day just said, I know it doesn't really seem a big deal to you. He started putting everything I said and he put it in a book, and it's real basic, but it basically is how I built $1 billion law firm. And I've had a lot of people read it and tell me, you know what? One lady read it and said in 3 months she got 100 cases, which is fabulous.
Right.
But I'm like, tell me what you learned. And she said, well, you build relationships. And I thought, how do you build relationships?
Yeah.
You got to be accepted. You got to love. You got to connect. So that's what it's real easy read. And I've had a lot of people that aren't lawyers that read it. And again, if you're in any doctors, if you're going to market anything in this world, if you want more customers, more clients, this book can help you.
Right.
But I don't want to take credit. A writer interviewed me, and then he watched me and he wrote every word.
So I've wanted to write a book, and I'm glad you said that, because I'm like, I sit down to start writing, and I'm like,
well, another reason you should write is because on Wikipedia, I think you can get credentials as an author.
Yeah.
And then that gets you something. Again, for all the searches, I don't understand it, but there's something you can get. I couldn't tell you what it is. Again, I have a team that does it for me. But
so you had a gentleman who's your writer. Just every presentation, he just kind of.
Well, he put most of them together. So I have a brain injury, and so how I deal with things differently now. I just need to see a word. Like early days when I tried cases over 30 years ago, if I had a law clerk, if they gave me more than 1 page brief, I wouldn't read it. I'm in there arguing in the court. They don't want to sit there and let you read a 20-page dissertation.
Right.
So everything I do is less than 1 page or less. So I just went and lectured for 2 days, and he had 200 slides. I can't show 200 slides, but I would find the ones that I really liked, and I just need one word, and then it would trigger.
Right. And you've got that in the background for the visual.
Well, yeah, they can see a pretty presentation.
But
people, they may never remember. This is my brother. They may never remember what you say, but they'll remember how you made them feel. So when I'm lecturing or talking or teaching, I want to go into their feelings, and that's how I can leave an imprint.
Logic makes you think. Emotion makes you act.
I'd agree with that.
That's a Kellerism. That's one of our words. So
I agree.
So tell me about what goes into a Super Bowl commercial. How did that come from a thought to viral?
Well, again, all my ads I don't think of. But, I have a lady that comes up with a lot of creatives, and then she runs ideas by me, and I don't like about 90%.
Really?
Well, I don't see myself as this person. Everybody, one of the movies I was thinking about, I love Marvel and all, James Bond and all these, but I can't think of one of the movies where that man gets real little and big, and she says, become the person he thinks you are. So I'm not the person everybody perceives. So I have a hard time with that. But she comes up with these ideas. And for 3 or 4 years, we just did like a Super Bowl concept, but it was just to be in the Super Bowl locally. And then,
when you run Super Bowl ads, there's like local, regional, national ads.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I just am in the state.
Okay.
Yeah. But one came up really good. And this one went viral, and I think got 5 million. And I'm going to tell you honestly how it went viral. The Super Bowl always comes out on a Sunday, and this was before COVID. And, I have a lot of employees and I try to share some stuff with them. So we just got our Super Bowl ad 2 days before the Super Bowl. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to just share it. And I said, you can view this, but whatever you do, don't share it with anybody. I woke up the next morning and it had 500,000 views. I thought, did they hold a press conference? I mean, I told them not to do it.
Right.
And then we ended up getting like 5 million. And then I think the next year I did the same thing. I thought, hey, whatever you do, don't show it.
Yeah.
And then we got 10 million. And then we started making some national lists. And then I think we skipped a year because of COVID. And then we did one and it got 14 million views. And then I got to be honest, I can't keep doing this. I can't keep topping it.
Right.
And I didn't do it for a couple of years. And then last year we did one and we just decided not to promote it at all because there was a lot of controversy about the NFL and all that.
Yeah.
And I think it only had maybe 400,000 or 500,000. It didn't have a whole lot, but I did it. I didn't want to do it. But she said, let me show you what AI can do. And AI did about 90% of it. And I didn't like it. I mean, honestly, I just feel like, that's part of the problem. I love movies and now movies have gotten, I built a studio I got 2 different locations. I got a courtroom in one location and I got a green screen studio where I do a lot of shooting. And now with AI, I mean, my guy that was shooting says, let me show you this. And in 1 hour, he created a commercial that was unbelievable, but it all was AI.
Right.
So I feel like we're cheating.
Yeah, there is a big cheat code going on.
I feel like we're losing but
a lot of movies now, it almost seems like they're rewriting the same movie over. And in a lot of cases they are, like literally a movie that was great in the 80s, they'd redo it. But the themes are the same. It's like, you think it is technology? Like,
no. Again, I'm old fashioned. I think it's ruining everything, but it is creating efficiency. Probably going to be hated for this. I just think our society.
Make sure you record this next thing.
Yeah. I think our society has become lazy. Mm-hmm. I've gotten lazy. Like today, I was in my courtroom all morning and I knew we were out of supplies. And rather than me run to the store, I did an Instacart and it's delivered an hour later. That is so lazy.
Yeah.
But it's efficient.
Yeah.
Tomorrow I got like 8 people coming to listen to a case all day long.
Yeah.
I got to have water, refreshments. And right now, everybody's running around and I don't want them to leave their desk. Yeah. So let me pay somebody and I'm helping the people that want to do it.
So I challenge. I hear what you're saying, but lazy or efficient, right? I don't know if it's lazy. I mean, you would much rather probably leave the courtroom and walk down to the store and go shopping. But
sure, well, I love people. I love seeing. Yeah. Before I came here, I have a doctor's office that's real close by, and they wanted me to fill out a form. Mm-hmm. So I walked in to hand deliver it, and a lady looked at me like, "You could have mailed it." I said, "No, but I couldn't have said hello to you." And then I thought, I don't trust the mail. Really, that's what I'm really saying. So I hand delivered it.
Have you seen the commercial that's what if DMs were real life?
Oh no!
Guy pulls up in a car. He's like, "What's up, bro?" And then drives off. Like you could have just sent that in a text and you drove over to see me. Your courtroom and your studio. So the courtroom's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, I spent millions on my courtroom. It's awesome. And I share it with other lawyers if they want to use it. We bring clients in.
So is it all like for like trial prep?
Yeah, trial prep. We do some mediations, but it's also practice. If people came in, they think I'm insane. I have these cardboard characters of different humans, and I put them in chairs.
Who are the humans?
And we'll talk to. But like, so today a trial consultant's in with me and we're I say, I got to go do this, take a couple hours. And then, tomorrow morning, we're going to have we're going to pick a jury. I do focus groups. Everyone's different. I do it to see what's going to beat me. How can I lose this case? Because I'd rather lose now and win at the other. But like this weekend, we're going to, one of the attorneys going to try a case next week. And so they're going to bring their client. We're going to put them on the stand and we're going to ask them questions. We don't want their first day in court to be
the first time.
Time. Yeah.
Do you do much with JCPS?
Not really, other than the backpack.
Gotcha.
I mean, I'll go speak at the schools from time to time.
Seneca High School has a pre-law program, and they've got a pretty cool little mock courtroom in there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I didn't know if it had any.
I didn't know that. I know the Louisville Law School, like they've got it one too, and I just was down there speaking. And the problem with lawyers is doctors have residency and lawyers really don't. So, it'd be great if a lot of lawyers come out and work a year or two for someone, but everybody wants to come out and, law school, it's challenging because people don't want to come out and they want to make the most money they can. And so, for us, I mean, we could hire someone, it could take 2 years just to get them some experience, or we could go hire someone with experience. So it's a catch-22. So,
in my field, you have to have a broker and they hold all the license.
Yeah.
How's it work in
No, law's different. Nowadays you can take the bar and get licensed in I think 42 states with the multi-jurisdictional. I don't know how it works, but like I'm licensed in 3 states. I'm trying to get licensed in a 4th right now. But you can possibly take a bar and get licensed in 42 states, but it'd be expensive because every state you're licensed, you have to pay bar dues. So what a lot of people might pick 1 or 2.
So you can start practicing law right after you pass the exam.
As long as you get licensed and you got to get sworn in.
Okay.
Like in Kentucky, I got sworn in by the Supreme Court when I passed.
Gotcha. And then, hook or crook, no business thing. You can just go start your own firm and start.
Yeah, but starting a firm's like any business.
Yep.
I mean, you have to find a way to get customer. I mean, that's why just starting a law firm, a lot of attorneys work for me because they don't want to do all that. I mean, I've got met one of my attorneys last week was talking to me and he's like, you know what? I love doing this because I don't have to do this, that, and this and that.
Right.
I don't have to deal with payroll. I don't have to deal with rent. I don't have to deal with malpractice insurance. I mean, it goes on and on. So it's challenging, but there's some people, and I was one of them, just want to be my own boss.
Right. And that's the one thing that I've struggled with, being now fully an entrepreneur, where I was a teacher and, but I didn't want to start a school, but I can do real estate, right? And I've learned a lot of the business stuff.
Did you do APAS Weichel? That marketing was around for 100 years. APAS Weichel.
I did not. I went to it was Century Real Estate School with Lucy Brooks, but they've been around for a while. Tell me about your fascination with jerseys, football jerseys.
Well, that was I would go help lawyers of different states, and it just became a thing. Everybody would give me this jersey. And then they would have these like ceremonies. So before you knew it, I had like jerseys in 20 states.
Colleges, mostly?
Mostly like one of my friends was hockey. They had just won. And there was a college. I love sports. Yep. I mean, sports is, I grew up playing it. And I loved it.
What sport? What sports?
Well, we grew up, we didn't do what everybody does. You don't pick one. We get up in the morning, and if it was summer, we all day. Basketball, baseball, kickball. We didn't play soccer, but we played football.
We had to go outside until the street light came on.
Oh yeah. Because parents didn't want to watch it. They didn't have cell phones, but the one I was best in was baseball. I played in Hikes Point. I was all-star every year, and then I went to Babe Ruth, and then I didn't like it when I went to high school because I wanted to do other things.
Right.
But, I was like that. If you see Bad News Bears, I could hit it to the fence and get a single. I was the slowest guy on the team. I mean, I got a few home runs inside the park with errors. But I loved baseball at the time. And then that strike of 84-91 kind of ruined it for me. And now I just watch World Series.
Yep.
But
this was a good one.
Yeah, no. I thought it'd go 7 games. But, these people today are – insane how good they are.
Oh, it's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. So we're not done, but keep tradition alive.
Oh my gosh, look at this. The jewels. That's a great jersey. Ah, well, thank you. I will wear this with pride. Look at this. You even spelled my name right. Do you know why I started? You know why we went from Isaacs and Isaacs? No one could spell Isaacs right. ISAACS They usually misspell on the first or second. So then you got to have all these misspelling domains. Like otherwise.
Right.
So finally we win. If you can't spell we win. So then it's like wewin.com. Surely everybody can spell that.
Right.
But call the hammer. They didn't know if it's 1 M's or 2.
Really?
So Isaacs is a hard name to spell. It's 6 letters. But thank you. This is very nice.
Yeah. That was Claire's idea. I love it.
Well, thank you, Claire.
Yeah.
One thing I want to share, one of the secrets I tell people, I learned customer service when I was 6 years old, though. And this is something that I try to pride my kids on. So back then, they had this newspaper. It was optional. It was called the Voice. And then I think down the road, a long time ago, it became Jeffersonian. But the Voice you deliver once a week, and you charge $0.25. And they would send me to collect. I mean, I'm going to collect $1 a month, and I'm getting $5 tips, and I'm 6 years old. And I thought, God, why are they giving me all this money? So one day, I love Krispy Kreme donuts, and my parents, that was the treat. They go to Barstown Road once a week. So we bought 10 dozen, and I went to 5 houses with 2 dozen, charged $2. I made $15 in like 20 minutes.
Delivering donuts.
And so the next week, I talked my dad into getting me 100 dozen. Every Saturday, the neighbors depended on, I was making a killing. And what it was, they weren't buying the product. They were buying it because I made them feel good and they were helping me. And it taught me if you can connect and have customer service. And so I go back to that principle to this day. Find out what the customer wants. Give them what they want and give them a little service, because if I ask you a question, let me ask you this question.
All right.
You can go to 2 different restaurants. One gives phenomenal food, but bad service. One gives average food, but phenomenal service. Which one are you going to pick day in and day out?
Service.
Of course. And so that's what my point. If you go places, because everybody knows me, I always tip regardless, because I don't want to say I'm a cheapskate. But if I see someone giving great service, I go out of my way to, oh my God, this is amazing. It's amazing. Because in today's society, you don't get that.
No, you don't.
And I look at like Red Lobster and all that. I always thought they have great food. And then, I hear they're kind of going bankrupt. But let's call us, their service is really going down.
And that's very frustrating, because that's in it. You say you don't have a unique ability or some secret sauce, but being relatable and genuinely caring about people is not normal anymore.
And that's the sad thing.
So it's like,
when I stand out, we got a problem because, but if you think about, again, I mean, you just have to study like patterns. Like during COVID, the only industry that I know of that like tripled or did better was the liquor industry. Because everybody became alcoholics,
Well, real estate did all right too.
Did real estate do good?
Yeah.
Okay.
When interest rates dropped to 2%.
You're right. Yeah. People were paying like tons more than but if you look at what like Pappy and all that, in 1987, my grandfather jewelry store, and I was closing it up, and next door, you get a bottle of Pappy was on the shelf of a convenience store that sold candy bars and all that. And I would go and blow dust. They had a bottle for $30, never sold. And then I think in 11 or 13, some celebrity came to the Derby and loved the taste of Pappy and went back and made such a big deal. And then everybody started ordering it. Next thing you know, what does Buffalo Trace do?
They pull it back.
They pull it back. And then I got friends that own liquor stores, and they're telling me now they get like 2 bottles a year, and the demand has gotten so scarce. I mean, the product, but the demand is phenomenal. So now, like, I mean, there's places paying $2, $3, $4 grand for bottle Papa. And if you tried it,
I've had it.
I don't know that it's better than Colonel Taylor or Blanton's or Weller, but again.
See, I'm a 04 86. All day long. I call it Mark Lemke. We had this. It's steady. It's never going to win an All-Star game, but you know what you're getting every time.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to do two things, and we'll wrap up. And if there's anything you want to finish off on, peace, purpose, and profit.
Peace,
purpose, and profit.
What do you mean the first word?
What gives you peace?
Oh, peace.
What gives you purpose?
Okay.
And what gives you profit? And profit is either money or a metric of success.
This is going to sound insane, but as I've gotten older, I get my peace going to my courtroom.
Going to your courtroom?
Yes. It's where I started 30-something years ago. It's where I want to end. But it's like I have an office over in Blankenbaker. I don't even go there anymore. I gave up all my offices, and my courtroom is my office. Like everybody wants to get me, they go and I'm working there. If someone needs to use it, I go in one of the conference room. It's the most magical building for me as a worker. Purpose. I love mankind. I want to leave the world better than when I found it. And I just love helping people. What I'm learning though, I'm starting to get stingy on who I want to help. There's one kind of person.
You can't want it more than they want it.
Well, it's not that. The one thing that kills my profession is arrogance. And attorneys is one place, a lot of them go to law school and their ego's higher than their IQ. And I mean, I've lectured, some of the most famous attorneys in the United States, and I can't stand arrogant people. And I just won't waste my time. And I know that's discrimination, but man, if you wake up and you think you know it all and you don't need help, you're not the person for me.
Right. I've got a mentor.
Because I need help and I'll give help.
Yeah.
So
I've got a mentor. His number one rule is don't be an asshole.
Well, I've helped a lot of people and some of them have really gone bad. Mm-hmm. And so I feel part of it's my fault. That's purpose, peace,
profit.
How
do you measure success?
Well, I don't think you do it by money.
Yeah.
Look, I think here's success. Do you love what you do? I mean, if you love what you do and you help people, you'll never work. I mean, there's some days I could look at my cell phone. Well, I'll do it now.
All right.
What is my, I'm curious. I used to check this all the time. I don't, but I can work from anywhere in the world.
Yep.
And so this is how I would see, here it is. What is my screen time? Okay. Usually it's 22 hours a day. I don't know why it's showing 26.
You work 26 hours a day?
I can't. There's only 24 hours. There's got to be a mistake. But I can, in any given day, I might work 16, 18 hours, not consistent.
Yep.
But I can, last night I went to a game. I really wasn't working. Went home. I worked a couple hours. This morning I got up, worked about an hour and a half. Then I went and did something. So I don't ever consider I'm working all that. I love what I do.
You're just doing what
I could retire tomorrow, but that wouldn't give me peace, purpose, or happiness.
Right.
So I just think happiness for me, love what I do. I love my family. Obviously you put God, family, and then work.
Yep.
But I just love helping people.
If you were a realtor, you'd be at Keller Williams. Ours God family business.
Yeah. I tell my staff, I can be third,
Yep.
I've never been, took me 3 times to bar. I think it took me 3 times to get married. I don't know. Everything I don't do in the first time.
Gotcha.
So,
all right, let's do a lightning round. I'm going to give you a question.
Okay.
You give me the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay.
If you weren't a lawyer, what would you be doing?
History teacher.
Really?
I love history.
Yeah. We're best friends now. I was a history teacher.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing to do on a Sunday afternoon?
Go walk in the park. I know it sounds, when you don't, they said I may never walk again after 8 days.
Yeah.
So I just had my 12th surgery in June, but I couldn't walk 100 yards. Now, the other day I walked 4 miles. It took me 30 minutes a mile, but I'm walking.
You're walking.
So Sunday afternoon, I'd love to go walk in a park or,
awesome.
Yeah.
It's
boring, but
no, I do this probably 5 days a week. My wife and I walk our 2 dogs. It's about a 2 mile loop.
I would say spend time with my family, but a lot of times my kids, they all have their own lives. So it's okay, I just would take whatever I can get.
What, so do you have dogs?
I did. Okay. I had 2 for almost 30 years and I travel so much. I want to get one again. I'm still heartbroken. Honey left me in 19. I hadn't got over.
Yeah. That'll be a hard thing to do when those pups. All right. Favorite app on your phone?
This is going to sound really sick. My Life 360. I can see where my kids are.
Life 360. Well, that's not sick. You love
I tell them, hey, you can track me, but I just, sometimes I just like seeing their face or picture.
Love it. Favorite Super Bowl commercial other than yours?
The favorite one, I still couldn't tell you what they promoted. I remember there was a person sitting and he slapped a horse's behind and it kicked someone. It made me laugh, but I don't know the product they promoted, which defeated the purpose. Right. But that's probably my all-time favorite Super Bowl commercial.
So mine is I think it's a Nokia commercial. There's a flash in the woods and these 2 guys just take off running. And they jump in the car, they're panting. And the guy's like, "What are we running from?" And he pulls out a a digital camera and pulls the screen up, and he's like bear hugging a bear.
Oh,
That's my favorite.
that is funny.
All right. If you could have dinner with anybody, who would it be?
Abraham Lincoln.
Really?
Yeah.
What about Abraham? Because he's a lawyer?
No. And he was the first lawyer to advertise, not because of that, because he wasn't highly educated, which I can relate to. He just really did the right thing, even though it wasn't popular. I mean, listen, I tell my clients all the time, I don't lie to my clients. I tell them what they have to hear.
Yeah.
I don't tell them what they want to hear. And sometimes they get mad at me, but I just respect Abraham Lincoln because he did what you could go back, George. I mean, there's so much I wasn't around.
Right.
But of everything I've studied, it just took a lot of guts to end slavery to, I mean, you had a civil war. Is that probably the only civil war our country's ever had? I just think he was. Now, the second guy, I was thinking if it wasn't him, well, let me ask you this.
Okay.
Who do you think, you could go back 100, 200 years, who's the most beloved person in the world? And I'm going to give you a hint. Popes have bowed down to this person.
Jesus.
Well, besides Jesus, everybody, that's not fair. Jesus, of course.
Right.
But who in the 200 years would you think could go anywhere in any country, anytime, and would be universally accepted? So this person I would love to have lunch with. Mother Teresa.
Mother Teresa. There you go.
She's the most beloved person in the world. So
Gandhi.
that's who I would want to be. Yeah, I mean, Jesus, God, I always consider.
No, I say Gandhi. Gandhi would be up there.
Yeah, but in Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, all of them are great. So Don't get me wrong. But Mother Teresa, wealth, she never was influenced by wealth. And she truly just helped everybody.
Right.
I mean, when you see a pope bowing down, I thought, man, that's a beloved person.
Right. I love it. Your guilty TV pleasure.
I'm watching Game of Thrones for my sixth time.
Really?
I'm a binge watcher. COVID made me
it made everybody a binge.
Yeah, I mean, it's really a sick life when you watch Game of Thrones all the time. And when I did my Super Bowl commercial, I never watched it.
Really?
I had no idea. I didn't get the irony, winter's coming or winter's over or whatever. I didn't know all that.
Favorite restaurant in Louisville?
White Castle.
White Castle? Which location?
You asked. Well, it used to be the St. Matthews, and it tore down. And then the other day, I thought, I'm going to go to White Castle, and they moved the other one. I'm like, they don't even tell me these things.
So I grew up on Dixie Highway. The WC Lounge at Greenwood and Dixie Highway was the spot.
Yeah.
Big Red?
No.
That's almost blasphemy. All right. Best hidden gem in Louisville.
Best hidden gem. So I love Louisville. That's why, because I grew up here. You know what I'm going to say the best hidden gem is what's across the street from my courtroom. Where Muhammad Ali's buried. What's it called?
Oh, Cave Hill Cemetery?
Cave Hill.
Yeah.
I for years, 30-something years ago, I bought Nick King's building. If I'm having a bad day, I go up there and I'd look out and I thought, at least I'm not there.
Right.
But one day I decided to walk back there. It was gorgeous.
Is it?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I went back. I thought it just was real peaceful serenity. I know it sounds weird with a death.
Well, but
it's a beautiful, but maybe I shouldn't even say that. Iroquois Park was awesome. I ran the Mini in 92 and that was a gorgeous park.
Our park system is pretty.
Look, I'd say this, and it's so sad. Seattle, Minnesota, and Louisville, for right or wrong reasons, the downtowns got destroyed. But before that, I would have seminar. I could bring people in. We had so many gifts in Louisville. The Louisville Slugger, all the bourbon tours, everything. It's still, when I try to, I bring people into my courtroom, it's hard to get people to come to Louisville. But in Louisville, if you grew up here, it's a special place. So
it feels like we can't get out of our own way. And I love Louisville too. And I would love to see, and we don't have to end up being Nashville. but I just feel like we're missing something.
Well, look who's put us on the map, like Texas Roadhouse. I mean, forever. That was great. You know, when Jack Harlow started making everybody, what do you think? I said, anybody from Louisville that becomes worldwide.
Right.
Gosh, I never forget. I didn't know who he was at first, honestly. And he wrote a song about me called Heavy Hitter, Darryl Isaac.
Yeah.
And one of my kids called and he said, what do you think? And I'm like, what? And he goes, he wrote a song. I'm like, I don't even know who this guy is. And like, well, did you give him permission? I said, no, but it doesn't matter. Anybody from Louisville, when Muhammad Ali became who he did, I thought it was the greatest thing for us.
Right.
It put us on the map. And so Colonel Sanders, I still think my grandfather I met him. My grandfather used to go to Harlan and eat his chicken, and he would go on and on. And so in Simpsonville, he's got Claudia Sanders.
Right.
That was our thrill. My grandfather, usually every couple of weeks, would come pick us up.
That just sold, didn't it?
Yeah. I think it, I don't even know if it's still, is it open?
Yeah.
But I just think anything that's iconic for Louisville.
Right.
It's fabulous.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that makes me mad about Louisville is quit advertising we're an international airport. Just say it's a UPS.
Right.
You cannot fly anywhere internationally in Louisville. And I hate that because everybody goes, well, it's international. Well, if you're on UPS, it is.
Right. You got to pack yourself.
So I don't like misleading advertising.
Well, and you probably know the history better than I do of that. There was a big push to put international give the airport to UPS and then build an international airport out in Shelby County. Is that accurate?
No, it is. Look, I don't care where they build it. Just build it. So where I live in Florida, we have 4 terminals, and it's amazing. They built a new airport. That's an international airport, you know.
Right.
But I think Louisville. Of course, I'm not running it, so I don't want to be a Monday quarterback. I have no desire to become a politician or judge, but I do think there's ways they could promote it better. But if you're asking me to be a part of it, I'm not going to do it. So maybe I shouldn't say. I don't have enough time, but
judge is not something you.
Oh no. Okay. I can't. Before I had kids, I thought one way. Once I had kids, you think differently.
Right.
Who's
your all-time favorite athlete?
Barry Sanders.
Okay.
Yep. You know why? Because he did it. He just handed the ref the ball. It was his job.
Yep.
He didn't. Act like you've been there before. He didn't do all this shenanigans where they pull out signatures of your socks and sign it and all this stuff. Look, I love sports more than anything, but oh my gosh. I mean, he broke more ankles running.
Right.
But he was so humble and his humility was, it's, in fact, I should have said, that's one guy I want to meet. I think I have a chance to meet him because someone I know knows him. And so we're trying to line it up. I've been very blessed. I've had a chance to meet presidents, everything, but I want to meet Barry Sanders.
That's interesting. I love that. Did we do restaurant? Favorite restaurant?
Well, I said White Castle. Everybody's going to laugh.
Yeah, we did. What's one item you cannot live without?
Maria's Thousand Island dressing. I wish I could.
Thousand Island dressing.
Yes, it's and used to not be able to get it in Kentucky, so I tried to ship it and it didn't work. So I would just bring it back and forth from Florida. But when they open a Publix, they have it. So I put Thousand Island on everything. It's not the healthiest.
Favorite high school rivalry in Louisville?
Well, going to Trinity, I'd say Trinity and X, obviously.
That is something different. That's its own thing.
But so I went to Male too. Male Manual has more of a history. But I haven't really stayed with high school football, but gosh, Manual just beat Male at 21-0. I wouldn't have called that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess because I grew up, Trinity and X, when I was there, I wasn't eligible to play because I transferred. And so I was with a Yale boy the last year where we would be a male cheerleader and hold up the girls. And, but the fairgrounds would be packed.
Yeah.
And even now, I don't know what it's been. I hadn't been in a couple of years, but to get 30,000 students at a high school game was amazing.
Yeah. That's unbelievable. Who's the most famous person you've met?
Well, everybody's going to probably say Jack Harlow. I've met a lot of, I've met Johnny Cochran, F. Lee Bailey. I've met, like I said, I had a chance to meet 2 presidents and I chose not to just because I don't want it to be political. I don't know. I've been in Europe and I've run into, I met one of the James Bond. Who knows?
Right.
Look, before I went on TV, I was starstruck. Now I feel sorry for him because I know where I go. I I'm a nobody, but I'll never say no to the fans have made me. So I'll take pictures, give autographs. But I've been in like, the Derby with like Michael Jordan and them, and he wouldn't take pictures with people. You could take a picture. I just got turned off. So I don't know what makes a celebrity, Like what I love about Jack Harlow is he gives back. He's donating money. He does a lot for Louisville. So I think he's amazing. He's still not my favorite musician. My son is, obviously.
Second favorite.
But, I've met Muhammad Ali, and it broke my heart because I felt like when I met him, his dementia was really bad, or Parkinson, and they were using him like a chattel or something.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have been there. I don't know who's the most famous, but I just love people that help people.
Yep. What do you think about Jeff Brom coming home?
I think Jeff Brom's one of the top coaches in the country. It's, I think his defenses could use a lot of work.
Right.
But Purdue, they beat Ohio State. I mean, he's obviously a Trinity. A lot of success, and Louisville's lucky to have him. People don't want to hear this, and again, Louisville and Kentucky, like Kentucky basketball is one thing, but football, U of L and UK, it's not really a destination job.
Right.
But someone like Jeff Brom will probably stay the rest of life if given the opportunity.
Yep. And
we all get mad. Like IU's coach right now, he's got to be coach of the year.
He's going somewhere.
Well, not necessarily, because remember what Boise State's coach came here, won there but didn't here. What if he builds his own dynasty, like the UConn coach that turned down Kentucky, won 2 national titles? I don't blame him, man.
Right.
You could spend 20 years and they're going to build a statute. But Louisville and UK is. We want it to be a destination job. Maybe it's not. So, like I say, UK basketball reminds me of Alabama football. I'm not knocking Louisville. I'm just saying with the 100-year history. But I think Jeff Brom, Louisville should sign him to 2 lifetime contracts,
The whole family and the next born.
I think he's fabulous.
Yeah. I'm glad he's back. Best piece of advice you've ever received?
Got to be from my dad. I was oppositional. My dad told me, if anybody told me to do something, I did the opposite. So my dad would start giving me this advice. You do what you want, but if it's me, and they tell me what he wanted me to do. I'd flunked the bar twice by 1 question each time, and I was about ready to kill myself. Not literally, and I'm listening to Zig Ziglar, I'm doing everything. What can I do? And my dad said, you do what you want, but if it's me, I'm doing 5,000 practice problems. I went and did 5,000 practice problems. I passed the bar. So what it was is when I took it the first time, you had 200 multi-state questions. I forgot how many essay. I got a 95 in the essay. I got 101 out of 200 multi-state, and they averaged them. You had to have a 75. I had a 74.3. They wouldn't budge. And the second time I'm getting ready to take it, and they make it like the CPA exam. You take it, but now it's parts. You pass one, you only take the part you flunked.
Right.
I improved from 101 to 131 out of 200. Guess what? Now I need 132. I flunked the bar twice by 1 question.
Jeez.
So my dad knew I would. So I did 5,000 problems. I got 183 out of 200. Best advice he gave, and all he did was tell me to work hard.
Right.
So, but everybody that, and maybe that's not, everybody gives you advice, but at the end of the day, you got to make your own decisions, and you got to. My kids, I'd love to save them a lot of agony and defeat, but sometimes you learn in the losses.
Right.
And then you get victory later. I mean, you look at history, Battle of the Bulge is a great example. Eisenhower, everybody thought he'd fire all the generals, and he said, nope, this is a chance to end the war. And they ended the war 11 months later. I mean, so I think the best advice, though, is always doing what you believe is right. And it's going to come in different ways.
Yep. Was it Lamar says nobody cares, work harder?
Lamar's another person. I mean,
I wish he was from Louisville.
Well,
but he reps it.
Lamar and Patrick, look, I love college more than pros. Now that they're paying athletes, it's not as fun. I'm watching people like Lamar. He makes people look silly.
Yes.
I mean, he almost looks like he's jogging. And I'm sitting there thinking, did he just do that? Did he just throw the ball 70 yards? Did he just, even Patrick Mahomes, how he can contort his body. He almost makes me not like him because he's a freak of nature.
Right.
But the fact that Lamar came from Louisville or played here,
right,
I think puts him on the map.
Yeah. I love it.
But even now, he might be one of the greatest quarterbacks not to win the Super Bowl,
Right.
unless that changes.
But he's so young still. That's what's that to me, I think.
Well, how old is Patrick Mahomes? Is he 23 or something?
Yeah.
24?
And Lamar's 21. 20,
Oh, no, Lamar's over 21.
Is he? No, but Mahomes is older than Lamar.
Oh, maybe they're 25, 26,
Right.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
They still look like, they don't look like they're trying half the time.
I know. It's unbelievable. And he's throwing the ball so much better this year. He's had 2 interceptions, and they're both tips that the receivers dropped.
You know what? It's funny. Where I said at the UK games, I would watch Cal. Mm-hmm. He's always blaming, pulling. It's always players do this. Man, I watch Pope. I've seen 2 games now, and both times something bad happened, and he turned to the bench and said, "My fault." And I thought, there's a coach that takes credibility.
Yeah.
And then I'm not here to bash Cal, but what did he do the other day? They beat Kansas. Everybody said, wow, they're great. They lose to TCU. They're up 11, and Big Z takes a 3, and then Cal said, he didn't take the 3-0-1. That's what he does. You either break people down or you build them up. And I'm a big build them up. No one's perfect.
Yeah. That's why
I tell people in my firm, when we do well, it's my team members. When we lose, it's all my fault. I'll take all the blame.
Right.
My business, my fault.
But those are sports lessons too. That's why I think you see a lot of people that have they run successful teams or organizations have some kind of sport upbringing or DNA or.
Well, I study, like I say, a history nut. You want to learn a lot about business? Why don't you study Patton's principles? Mm-hmm. I mean, I got all kinds of quotes on my iPad. I carry all that. It is amazing when you do, but there is no substitute for hard work.
Right. Well, military.
Yeah, and I'll be candid. I respect the military because my father was met in Korea. I tried to get in. They wouldn't take me. And I'll never forget the recruiter one day because I'm like, but I'm willing to do this and that. And he said, I'm sure you're going to make your mark and help the world. It just won't be through the military. I didn't get mad.
Yeah.
But so now I do a lot of things military related because I thought if I,
Yeah.
But Patton, I got stuff I do every day from Patton.
What about Grant?
Grant was a drunk.
Yeah.
And Grant authorized Sherman. Everybody hated him for that. But I'm going to tell you something. He ended the war. I mean, they didn't like it. He burned Georgia.
What did you say earlier? You about Lincoln? He had to do something.
Yeah.
It had to be done. And
Lincoln put Grant, and Grant brought Sherman.
Yeah.
And yeah, he.
Could you imagine that conversation? Are you sure? Because here's what I'm going to do, Abraham. Yeah.
Well, again, it's, I hate to say it. I think competition breeds success. Mm-hmm. Even in my firm, I don't give the best cases to every attorney. And I couldn't tell you where any of my attorneys ranked in their law school. Because God knows I was 101 out of 121. I was at the bottom. But what I do is I'm all big on performance. Mm-hmm. Don't tell me what you're going to do. Show me what you did.
Yep. So in my world, we track a lot of numbers.
Yeah.
What kind of analytics do y'all look at?
Well, that's why I'm kind of short now is I put them on the board. And if you're at the bottom, I'm saying go up the top and usually your bottom quit. But I've had one bottom moved up. So competition.
Yep.
Everybody wants guarantees. Even these pro athletes, if they don't like it, they just quit a team. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I tell all my friends whose kids, they come out, do you think, especially if you grow up in these parochial schools like, our kids did, you think when you graduate from college, you can go to IBM or GE and write a letter and there's 1,000 applicants and they're going to pick you?
Right.
What if you just let them go and work their butt off and then the ones that get promoted and then the ones that don't get the job, well, then what do they need to do to get the next job? Like my son at the music business, he gets turned down a lot and he gets accepted some. And I'm like, Lee, the more you get turned down, the harder you're going to work. And the more you practice, the better you're going to get. Beatles, no one knew who they were. They went out of the country, went to Germany and played 7 days a week for a year, came back. Unbelievable.
Right.
Can you imagine if you do you think Stephon Curry only took a few threes?
Right.
I bet you he's probably done 100,000 to get that release and that accuracy.
It's hard work.
Nothing substitutes hard work.
We talk about, the activities, mindset equals outcome. And that's, it doesn't change whatever business you're in. Like, you got to have the right mindset. You got to do the right activities, and the outcomes will take care of themselves. In my world, we're just, looking for people to buy or sell a house. In your world, it's people that need legal advice.
Yep.
And so you didn't say it directly, but Gary Keller wrote a book called The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. And like the first thing is, you got to understand you're in the lead generation business.
Yep.
Without leads, without people raising their hand saying, I need legal advice. It doesn't matter how good of an attorney you are or how good a real estate agent. If nobody's watching baseball games, it doesn't matter how good you are at baseball.
You want me to give you one example of where you talk about leads?
Yeah.
I can give you an example. So you all probably want Google reviews, right?
Yeah.
5-star Google reviews. And then you want referrals.
Mm-hmm.
So, and again, I didn't come up with this idea. I just perfected it.
Yep.
I hear someone's idea. So someone talked about doing something special for your past clients or people for your business. Well, one day my marketing girl, Haley, was telling me, you remember when you were a kid and you got gold stars or everybody got trophies? It was really nice. But she said, think of everything you give. Like I give a 12-pack of Grater's ice cream. You can ship it anywhere. I'm an ice cream nut. Obviously, don't need it, but it's one of the best in the world. I would give that. Everybody loved it. And she said, you know what I really like? I went in her office one day and there was a little $7 plaque. Someone gave her this because of some of the things she did. So I thought, you know what I want to do? We invited 100 of our past clients who either gave us a 5-star review or referred business. Mm-hmm. A third came. We had a special dinner at Corner Cafe, and I got these little $7 to $10 plaques. If you gave me a 5-star review, it had a 5-star. Thank you for being amazing. If you referred cases, I gave you a hammer. But both of these you put on your desk.
Right.
And we had a photographer come, and I interacted, and we had a dinner, and I called each and every one up, gave them this little presentation, said one or two amazing things. And we tracked it. I did it just to see if it would work. Within 90 days, I had 39 new cases from just those people. And one person came, her mom had died 12 hours earlier. She came from 2 states because they had moved. And I said, why are you here? Go be with your family. She goes, there's nothing they can do for my mom for 2 days. And I thought, you helped me so much, I wanted to be here for you. I was so touched. So now when I go and everybody's paying for all these leads and buying internet stuff,
Yep.
What if you take your database and you started, now, I don't have time to do it all. I wish to do it more.
Right.
What if once every 3 months you took all your past clients and you invited and you just let them know they were special and amazing? Yep. You're doing, no one does stuff like that.
Right.
And so, and the other thing I do, and I'll do it right here, I give everybody in the world my cell number.
Yeah.
I want to be, when people need me, I want them to call me. So everybody gets my cell that wants my cell. And, so it's 502-817-1000. And I gave everybody the cell that night. And everybody goes, are they going to call you at time? People don't call. They only call when they need you because they don't want to bother you.
Right.
They're not bothering me. That's my lifeline. But I've got more $1 million cases on my cell phone just so I don't know. You try it. If again, it's like you give them a little $10 trophy, but you're letting them know they're special and why they're special.
Well, that's you'd make a great real estate agent. Well, and what's crazy is people are unwilling to do it. They would rather, instead of picking up the phone, calling their aunt and say, hey, I want to grow my business with people I know, love, and trust like you. If you know anybody that's want to buy or sell a house, will you connect to me? Instead of doing that, they would rather me pay for a bunch of leads for somebody that we don't even know where they're coming from and work with those people. I
took on, not as an experiment, but I wanted to go try cases, and I had a separate, law firm. I help firms all over the country. Some had 500-600. I would coach them and do what I do. So I had a guy that wanted to do it because I just wanted to go try cases, and I let him come on. We had meeting after meeting after meeting, and he hired sales teams and all that. And I brought in like 99% of the business, and he destroyed a lot of it, but he didn't want to give everybody access. And then I just said, this in for me, and we split up. But at the end of the day, I can hire 100 salespeople, but they're never going to sell me the way I can sell me.
Right.
And so I think people forget, like they want to do what you're talking about. I have one law firm, and they've done amazing, but he has no repeat business. He doesn't care. He just buys leads all day long. He spends a couple million a month buying leads. And I'm thinking, you're spending so much money. You're losing so much money. If you had a referral and
right.
So I just think people find substitutes of, at the end of the day, working hard and building relationships.
Yep. Work hard, build relationships.
Yeah.
So we could have said that at the beginning. It could've-
Well, I don't know if anybody's going to listen to me the whole
Right.
time, but yeah, to make this easy.
It's funny. I struggle when I'm teaching, whether sales or systems, whatever I'm teaching. Like, I know exactly what I want you to get out of it, and I just want to stand up there and go, "Here's what you need to do," and then be done. Like, I don't know what I'm going to talk for 2 hours.
So the other thing is kind of not fair. I one of the things I studied psychodrama because, if you want to understand jurors, you got to know what they're going through. And so being part of attorneys, you have to study all this. So I've always been good with people, but I didn't really understand what they were going through. It wasn't until I had my accident and I almost died and I watched my family went through that I really did understand what my clients are going through. And one of our big cases, we got a $10 million verdict. The lady said I hired the hammer because he knew what I was going through. So when I started realizing that, what helps me even today is sometimes I may not agree with what you're saying, but if I can try to imagine and go to your state of mind at that particular time, because let's say, like I told you, my discrimination, if I had any, would be I don't like arrogant people. It's not that I don't like them. I just don't want to waste my time with them.
Right.
But why are they arrogant? Maybe they had a death in the family, or maybe, someone disrespected them. Now, it doesn't mean I agree with their stance, but it may make me understand why they feel like they do.
The most mind-numbing thing I think anyone can ever do is try to figure out what's going on inside the mind of somebody else.
Well, I've never been great at a lot of things, especially relationships. But it's like, just tell me what you want instead of me guessing.
Right.
But when it comes to strangers, I have a little easier time because I'm kind of detached. But when it's a family member, it's like, you get personally involved. It's harder to detach.
Yep. That's why we yell at our kids. And
well, I used to. I'm not proud now. It's like I beg, just spend time with me.
Right. Well, you remember all those? Yeah. Mental note to stop yelling at your kids.
Well, you know what I finally did? I did counseling a lot of this. They said, fast forward 10 years. If you look back, is it really worth losing them? Do you want to win the war or lose the battle? And sometimes lose the battle to win the war. And that's where I just thought, you know what? At the end of the day, it's not worth arguing.
Yep. It's not worth it. So. Darryl, thank you so much.
Well, thanks for having me. I feel like I was a motor mouth. So.
Oh, no. That's what this is all about. And got to know you a little bit more.
You can follow me on the car. I'll give you the book.
Awesome. Thanks.